Back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about the Texas Rangers and their trade deadline. So let's get into it. So over the past few weeks, momentum has been building that the Rangers would end up buying at this trade deadline instead of selling like we expected them to. And that was officially confirmed last night from a report by Ken Rosenthal in an article saying that it's official. The Rangers are going all in. They're trying to win this year. They're trying to repeat as world champions, and that they are going to be buyers at this trade deadline. Now, this is something I expected for a little while now. I thought, again, momentum was building towards that, and it made a lot of sense. Going into this month, it was looked at by a lot of people that, the Rangers would end up becoming sellers because of the way they were performing and where their division was right now. But they've really been the best team in baseball this entire month, and because of that, their philosophy has changed, and now they can justify to themselves, we should be buying, we should be buyers, we should be trying to win. And that is what is going to be happening here now with this Texas team. Ken Rosenthal said last night specifically they are looking for a first base outfielder, DH kind of player, and mainly a right-handed bat as well. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Their lineup is. So I wanted to go over, is this the right decision for Texas? Should they be buying? Who could they get? Some other names as well, and just overall looking at their deadline for them. So let's get into it. So first of all, I think we have to ask the question, should the Rangers be buying at the deadline? Is this the right decision for them? Now, what I'll say is I actually think that this is not the right decision. I think that the Rangers are going to have a tough time getting into the playoffs this year, and I think that the way that this team has unfolded, I don't think it's the greatest decision. You're 2.5 games back of Houston, who's first in the AL West right now. You're a game under 500, and you're looking at the AL wildcard right now. You're 5 out. So you would have to overcome both Houston and Seattle to get to this first place in the division, and then overcome Tampa, Seattle, Boston, and Kansas City to get in that wild card spot as well. And some other AL teams maybe even go higher as well. Maybe Detroit does better. Maybe Toronto changes its mind and doesn't sell. So we'll have to see there. But I just don't know if this is the greatest decision to say, we're going to be buying. And I understand why they're doing it, because they're getting guys back in the second half. You're getting Tyler Mahle back. You're getting Evan Carter back. You could potentially get the big boy back, Jacob deGrom. You could potentially get him back for the stretch run. I'm not sure how likely that is with deGrom's injury history. I don't really think you want to rush him, but I understand why they're doing it. They think, with all the guys coming back from injury, with the pure amount of talent they have in this team, they're saying to themselves, you know what, look, we can be buyers at this deadline. We can become a playoff team. And again, I understand. I just don't agree with it. I think it's going to be tough getting into this playoffs right now with the teams above them, especially now that we know Seattle is going to be buying after the blockbuster trade of getting Randy from the Tampa Bay Rays. So I just don't know how I feel about this decision, and I think it's going to be very interesting to watch it unfold over these next few days or so as the deadline gets closer. Now, Rosenthal specifically mentioned, again, a DH-type player, first base, kind of corner outfield-type player, and mentioned a specific name in the article as well that I think is a really good fit, Yandy Diaz. Diaz, of course, is on the Rays, who look like they're selling players of Diaz's caliber, infielders who, position players who are kind of star-like players that only have a few years left, so it will be interesting to see if Diaz is the one to go. But I think he's a really good fit, honestly, on this Texas team. There is a question mark now about his availability, as he has been on the restricted list for a little while. I think dealing with a personal situation we're not exactly sure about, so we might have to see what happens there. But apparently he is coming off it soon, and the Rangers have been mentioned as a team to be of interest to the Rays for Yandy Diaz. Also, the Pirates, the Astros, and the Mariners have been interested in Diaz as well, so I think there's a lot of teams that could end up trading for Yandy, but I think that he is a really good fit here with this Texas team. He adds a right-handed presence at the DH position as being one of the best consistent hitters in all of baseball, and really adds in a ton of depth to this lineup. When healthy, this lineup is insane. You have no bad hitters, really. You have Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Josh Young, who you're also getting back from injury, I didn't mention, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Adolis Garcia. You also have someone else, center field, whose name I forgot. I was about to say Ezekiel Duran. There we go. I was thinking of Tovar, who's obviously on the Rockies, of course. I was thinking of the wrong name there. But this lineup is already incredible, and I think adding a guy like Diaz there would really help this out. And even though I don't think it's the great decision going for it, he would really help you out. I think that you also do probably need a starting pitcher. I understand you're getting DeGrom back potentially, you're getting back Tyler Mahle, but those are two guys coming off of major injuries. Guys like Nathan Eovaldi is always of injury risk. Max Scherzer is older and coming off a big injury as well. So if I was them, I would try to add a innings eating starting pitcher. I think someone like Cal Quantrill makes a lot of sense as well. Someone who's under control for next year as well. He's younger and has been stable throughout his career now with the Rockies. So I think that Quantrill could be a really good fit there. Just someone I'm kind of spitballing off the top of my head here, but yeah, if the Rangers are buying, I think they need a reliever, a starter, and then I think a bat like Diaz would make a lot of sense as well. So, yeah, I think that as much as buying is what they're going to be doing, I think selling made a lot of sense because you have a lot of good pieces you could sell off. Nate Eovaldi is someone you get a ton for. I really think a ton, considering his expertise in the playoffs that he has had over these past few years. You could really get a lot for him. You get a nice amount for Andrew Heaney, John Gray. You could also maybe look to sell off some bats as well. Maybe Duran, who you maybe view as excess goods at this point because of all the talent you have in your lineup. So Kirby Yates, David Robertson as well, two guys out of the bullpen that would really get a lot as well. So the Rangers are going for it. Not exactly my favorite decision, but I get it. They're getting a lot of pieces back, but I think they could have done really well if they sold at this deadline. And I think with the Astros doing really, really well over these past few weeks, the Mariners now adding and being a great team as well, I just don't know if adding at this deadline is the greatest decision if you're a Rangers fan. But hey, you do you. And again, I think there could be a lot worse decisions. I get it. It's not horrible and franchise ruining. They probably wanted to buy anyways because of just what they did last year, obviously winning the World Series, wanted to repeat with that. So it'll be very interesting to see who they add at this deadline, and just another team trying to add right now. I mean, you're looking at this, the confirmed teams to be selling are really who right now? I would say the Marlins, Rockies, Nationals, Giants, Cubs, that's 5. Then you have the White Sox, A's, Angels. That's 8. 8 out of 30, that's really not much. So I think we're going to see a lot more dominoes fall, and whether it's selling, whether it's buying, really making up their mind. And the Rangers have decided their course. They are going to be buying. They're going to be trying to go for it. And I think that in the end they don't make the playoffs. I just think the Mariners and Astros are better teams, especially now the Mariners adding Arozarena into that lineup, which I really, really like. So we'll end up seeing what happens here at this deadline, seeing what the Rangers do add, seeing what decisions are made. But yeah, going over that and going over the Rangers decision here. We'll be moving into our 5th and final segment here for today, which is going to be talking about Austin Hayes being traded to the Philadelphia Phillies and James Paxton being traded to the Boston Red Sox. 2 more minor trades that I still thought were significant that I did want to end up talking about. So yeah, we'll be going over that, and we'll end up seeing you after the break. So thanks so much, and bye.